Bulletcast for life.
Get up, this is a revolution. This is our time to rise. Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna hurt. When your face is in the dirt, you'll know
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the Microphone Messiah. I'm joined by the Canadian Destroyer, BT Brandon Tanguma. What's going on, man? It's Thursday.
Yes, it's Thursday, which means there's not going to be any major news or debuts that's going to happen immediately after we record this podcast.
Well, tomorrow's Friday. We don't know.
Yeah, you never know. But
you never know.
We'll talk about it on Curveballs and Cherry Shots if that happens.
Oh, that's still a thing.
It is still a thing. Still going strong. Shout out Mr. X.
That still exists?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, look at y'all. How long has it been?
We're coming up on 400 episodes in I don't know, a couple months.
Have you ever taken a break?
Unfortunately we had to have we didn't have an episode last week because of scheduling conflicts. But besides that, someone co-host almost dying of COVID, and then moving 2 states away. We haven't taken off any episodes besides those. Yeah.
Dang. This pod. The end of time. I think, I hope, I pray. All right, let's get into it. Outside the ring, WWE's new NIL class. Next in line, Brock Rex Steiner, Jacob Henry, and TJ Bullard, a.k.a. the sons of Scott Steiner, Mark Henry, and Titus O'Neil.
Another NIL class, and we look at NXT now and Evolve and all the subsidiaries of the feeder system that WWE has. They pretty much are full of athletes like this, and it definitely has paid off. And
if you look at the NIL program, your Sol Rukas, your Tiffany Strattons, your Jada Parkers, and
the fact that they have 3 second generation or third, former, in the family of wrestling kids in this NIL class. Usually, it's hit or miss. Obviously, we've seen track record of kids not exactly panning out in the wrestling world, but at least they are exposed to it and they know what they're getting into if they're doing this.
Absolutely. Brock Rex Steiner, he's a football standout. I know Jacob Henry is a big amateur wrestling standout. So there's a lot of good stuff here, man. I'm excited for these guys. Can't wait to see what they do. And moving on from that, apparently Netflix is going to have a new wrestling TV show, a drama series called Tuesday Night Titans. The series follows a tenacious writer who risks her career in the big leagues to recruit her estranged childhood best friend, a jobber on the indies, to join the same behemoth company that idolized in their youth. Their destinies become entangled as they battle personal demons, ruthless colleagues, and their complicated history in an industry where kayfabe isn't confined to the ring, but bleeds into every aspect of their lives. People are saying, well, why didn't you just bring heels back? What are your thoughts on this?
Like you said, it's another scripted wrestling show for Netflix. They had Glow a few years ago, and I quite enjoyed that show. That was more focused on the actual wrestlers than behind the scenes or writers. But I thoroughly enjoyed Glow. I thought heels. I watched the first season or 2. I thought it was pretty good. So Netflix, it's kind of hit or miss with Netflix shows. They are pumping stuff out because they want to keep stuff in house, and maybe it'll be good, maybe it won't. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. But we'll watch a couple episodes. We'll see what happens.
Tell us about Danhausen.
Well, Danhausen, we haven't seen him on AEW or ROH television in quite some time, and it came out recently that it seems as though his contract is up in this summer. We don't know exact dates of when that will happen, but we've been seeing sporadically. We've seen some AEW talents get not released, just contracts not being renewed, Abaddon, some other
Brandon.
Yeah, Abaddon. They are officially a free agent, so shout out to them. But yeah, so Danhausen, people love him. Wrestling, his actual wrestling ability might not be the best in the world, but um, a very sports entertainmenty character. And if he were to go to, let's say, a WWE, I mean, we saw what happened with Mr. Iguana. The wrestling WWE fans like, characters like that, over the top characters. I mean, they saved R-Truth's job basically. And if Danhausen were to land in WWE, I think he would be a pretty good fit since R-Truth is not like the comedy guy anymore, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I I don't like doing the old, jump ship from one to the other, but I think Danhausen's a pretty good fit in WWE if they want to try him out.
Yeah, yeah, Danhausen. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hopefully he lands somewhere great. Danhausen, former Bulletcast interview alum. Never forget.
Watch the video, great video.
Shortest interview in the history of this podcast.
Well, you know what? Short, sweet, and to the
Think
point.
I got more out of Scott Steiner than Danhausen. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, Danhausen's he's a character. He doesn't have much to say.
Yeah.
We're just gonna pay him, give him monies.
Off camera, fantastic human being. He was great. He was a great guy. I love Danhausen. Let's get it. American Gladiators back.
Yeah, American Gladiators back, hosted by who else? The Miz. And they announced, I guess, some of the gladiators that are going to be involved in it. And shockingly, or not so shockingly, a lot of wrestlers are going to be a part of it. Some pretty big names. We got Wardlow is going to be in it, as well as
What's
the former.
Wardlow? Where's he at?
I think he's been hurt, but then he also creative has nothing for him.
Dude,
And then he's also been doing this. But I think that's also the fact is he's been doing American Gladiator. So if he, is going to be off for a couple months doing this, you don't want to bring him back just for like a cup of coffee and then he goes away again. Former WWE wrestler Rick Boogs is going to be here. Another person who's been MIA in AEW, Camille, she's going to be there as well. And I believe Jesse Goddard and J Rod of OVW are also going to be a part of it. So
J Rod, I love J Rod. That's the homie. And then Jesse Goddard's really from when he was in TNA.
Apparently, that's what it says here. So, a lot of wrestlers here.
American Gladiator and Power Slap. All right. I see him.
So there you go. It's going to be on Amazon Prime if anyone wants to watch that.
I really do feel bad for Wardlow. I mean, just the stop of his run in AEW was just.
And then MJF did his whole shoot promo thing and that whole. I mean, I was there that weekend. We thought maybe that was going to be like the culmination of.
Were you there for that promo?
I was not there for the promo. That was the Dynamite after, but I was there for the match where.
Or you just powerbombed him 10 times?
Where it was, there was the whole controversy of MJF like walking out or he's leaving and like, yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah, well, now we know it was work.
Yeah. But it definitely took all the eye off of Wardlow, who that should have been like his big shiny moment, and it was all just on MJF.
Yeah, I mean, Wardlow, they did him so dirty. I felt like Wardlow could have been. We could have, if he wasn't going to be the world champion, we could have done more with the TNT title run. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We could have done. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Let's hit the fan mail real quick.
Oh, all right, fan mail. Yeah. Woo.
Yes.
Was I supposed to say something?
I have to answer my door. Hold on. We will get to the fan mail. Tell them about your thoughts real quick on something.
Oh, on something? Well, I mean, down in Los Angeles, I mean, let me tell you, stuff's been going on. Yeah. I mean, I've been talking about obviously that the Giants have won they've won like 9 games in a row, and the Los Angeles Dodgers are no longer like sole holders of first place anymore. So, yeah, the tough times down there in Los Angeles, and they let things slip away. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna, don't tell Phillip this. I didn't watch SmackDown, so I was gonna start talking about SmackDown, but he didn't put anything on the script, and I honestly kind of like don't really know what happened on SmackDown. Oh, hello, we're back.
You didn't know what happened on SmackDown?
Yeah, I kind of didn't watch SmackDown because
about what happened in LA. I heard.
What are you talking about? Yeah, I was talking about the Dodgers and
Of
baseball.
course, of course.
Yeah.
Dan writes in, man, is it 2014? John Cena's the undisputed champion. Nikki Bella's back, and Seth Rollins is Mr. Money in the Bank. Yeah,
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
come on now. Hello. Triple H is the authority. Yeah. 2014 is back, right? I was getting to it Monday Night Raw. John Cena, he comes out there. Oh wait, no, we got to get into inside the ring. I'm sorry. Um, Blake Monroe.
The glamour with a
Yes.
view, because she's British.
So last week, Mariah May debuted in NXT.
No. The glamour debuted in
The
NXT.
glamour, yes, yeah, yes. They've kind of pulled the Ricky Starks or Ricky Saints act like we're not going to say her name, we're not going to say their name,
But we know
but
you know.
you know who it is. Big Pop, Big Pop. And then she does the bathtub scene, which has been done by many a time. I think what Liv Morgan, Trish Stratus, and what Maurice did this previously. And her name is going to be Blake Monroe. I thought maybe they would have at least kept Mariah and kind of like Mariah Monroe. I like that. I like Mariah Monroe. What about you?
I wanted the meme of Mariah March to be a thing, but it's not going to happen. Also, I did not do any research on this. I probably should have, because
That's what you're supposed to be the research guy.
I'm a doc. I have a journalism degree. I should have done my research on this, but apparently, Blake Monroe is also the name of an adult film actress. Which you'd
Really?
think a multi-million billion-dollar company would have possibly vetted
Well,
that.
you remember the submission sorority.
Of course. How can everyone forget about the
Then
submission
there was
sorority? And
Gunther Stark,
unfortunately,
which that has nothing to do with adult films, but there was something else very negative.
Drew and Sheamus couldn't be the Bang Bros.
Yeah, they couldn't
The
be the
Banger
Bang
Bros.
Bros.
Yeah.
What else was there? Did you ever see that episode of Logan Paul's podcast where
No, absolutely not.
you've never watched?
No, I only see clips.
I when the wrestler's on there, I'll watch it. I'll watch those episodes. Cody Rhodes was on there, and the dude who does the podcast with Logan Paul was like, "Yeah, your family, Goldust, Dusty Rhodes," and then what's her name? Was it Lana Rhodes?
I don't know, Philip. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah no, but then Cody was like the adult film star was like, oh, this took a turn. So yeah, just interesting correlations. But that world and pro wrestling have always been intertwined. If you've seen, the cameos in our world. Anyway, yeah. So I didn't know that.
Yeah, I honestly I didn't really.
How
know
did
that
you
either.
find this out?
I watched on Cultaholic. They brought it up. Shout out Cultaholic.
Did somebody just leave Cultaholic?
Unfortunately,
Adam right?
Adam Pacidi's gone from Cultaholic, so yeah, I'm getting older. My people are leaving. But anyways, back to Blake Monroe.
Yeah.
Interesting that they went down the past, throwback aesthetic, given what she did a lot in AEW and who she was wrestling a lot in AEW on her way out. Now she's not doing the 50s starlet or 40s starlet. She's going for the more 60s like Bewitched aesthetic, which yeah, definitely with the whole cartoonized version of herself. It definitely is Bewitched. That's basically what they're going for.
Somebody I saw on Twitter, somebody was like, they thought Tiffany Stratton was trying to be Sabrina Carpenter. No, it's Blake Monroe.
Yeah, that's the other thing is they're side by side. They're just like Blake Monroe doing basically everything Sabrina Carpenter did, like in like her last video or like something.
She got some music coming out, right?
I'm not tapped into Sabrina Carpenter, unfortunately.
She has that song Espresso, and I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of a bop. I was at Hood Slam a couple months ago, and shout out Mighty Myra. That was her theme song that night. Big pop, massive pop, not just from the boys, not just from the crowd, but for me. I was like, okay, this is a vibe. This is probably the only time.
There's Philip's pop culture talk for the week.
Yes, this is probably the only time I will ever listen to Sabrina Carpenter, and it's at a wrestling show for somebody's theme song. But this was a vibe. Yeah. This has nothing to do with Inside the Ring, but did you see the clip going around of Cody and Damian Priest talking on the bus? And Cody talked about how, Bullet Club numbers went up when he joined.
And how the Bullet Club wasn't cool when Cody joined.
Yeah,
which I kind of agree with, because like what Cody because definitely like the peak of the Bullet Club was kind of like that AJ style. Well, not peak, but like AJ Styles was kind of like the coolest, or Finn Balor was kind of like when it was edgy
I
and like you kind of had to know people.
I
It wasn't as mainstream. Once Cody
yeah.
joined, then it kind of became a little
Yes.
too mainstream.
Yeah, it became like I mean, because what they didn't have the hot topic deal until Cody got there. I think I know what Cody is trying to say because like I mean it's all been talked about. The stuff's out there. When he got to Ring of Honor and was really starting to run and got the title, their stock went up like 30%. Like viewership and like just the wealth of the company went up. And then he gets over there and the hot topic deal happens. And I mean, brother, like let's be real. Like you would see Bullet Club shirts here and there, but like once Cody joined, Bullet Club shirts were everywhere. I mean, like I went to Hot Topic. I bought the Cody one. I bought the Young Bucks one. I bought the
They
villain
had
one.
the shirt that had all the different animals on them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I bought yeah, like I had the cleaner one. Like it just you just bought those. Like they became massive. So I understand what Cody was saying. I understand. People are all up in a frenzy, but what do y'all
I
know?
mean, it's just like the band. There's like the band, that underground cool band that, you might say, oh, their best music was before they made mainstream, but obviously the band is going to love the time that they went mainstream and they made a bunch of money.
Yeah, absolutely. Worlds Collide happened. Mr. Iguana, Big Pop, Vikingo, and Chad Gable. God damn it, boys. Them boys went to work.
Yeah, I mean, Vikingo, Chad Gable, phenomenal match. I mean, definitely like the one thing you really wanted to watch because everything else was kind of like tag matches. Um, but yeah, I mean, and Chad
Um,
Gable posted a pretty emotional tweet out there just kind of talking about the day he had and his buddy, El Grande Americano. Probably the best day of his career, he said, just because of like, the spotlight he was put on and kind of what he was able to do that night and his buddy. But Phillip may be frozen. Don't know
I
what's, oh, he's just solid in place. Very impressive.
no, 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 no. Um, I'm trying to think. Was there anything else we could have talked about outside the ring or anything else inside the ring before we get to Raw? I'm trying to make sure we cover all the
I mean,
bases.
I mean, Mr. Iguana, the man's over. I mean, we saw him at a West Coast show, whatever, like 3, 4 years ago. So like I mean, I saw him, kind of forgot about him, but I mean, I did see that like he was down in Mexico doing stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, the crowd loves him. I mean, maybe I feel like that's kind of indicative on like WWE crowds and kind of wrestling crowds in general. They just kind of like pick something. I'm gonna say this with all due respect, something dumb, latch onto it, and then like kind of make it a bigger deal than like it needs to be. Because like I've seen talks of like maybe WWE. I mean, they have his shop on WWE's website. He was on NXT. He was, there's possibly talks of him going to the main roster and doing stuff.
Have you? I'm sorry. Have you seen Tiffany Stratton's first pitch?
Yeah, it is. It's on Curveballs and Church Shows if you want to go see it. But yeah, she screams Tiffy time and just absolutely throws it in like the first row.
Who what was it? Who? It might be better than 50 cents. I'm looking. Like, hold on. Hers went.
She got
Yeah,
airtime on it. At least she was able to throw the ball, but it was nowhere near home plate.
yeah. But I mean, yeah. No, this is much better than 50 cents. Apps by a mile, by a mile, brother. Oh man, yeah, Mr. Guana. Like you said, some of the West Coast show loved him. Great talent. Lives that gimmick, brother. He just lives the gimmick. Lince Dorado, my guy, the Spanish fly under the iguana. Big pop on that. Big pop on that. Let's get into Monday Night Raw. John Cena's out there, the never seen 17, talking about our truth is a gimmick. In like in a year from now, you won't care. It will all have been for nothing. Uh, he says he wants real competition. He wants here comes the best in the world. CM Punk is out there, and he says this is finally what he's been waiting for. He said like this basically what kind of what Randy said leading into their feud. Like this is a crazy time warp. You're trying to bring down the establishment, and I'm the guy that's kind of fighting for it. But Punk says he's not fighting for TKO or the billionaires. He's fighting for the people. Um, Yeah, they talked about the elimination chamber. You whispered, "I'm sorry," leading in because you knew exactly what you were about to do. So then again, planning in that doubt from Cena, And then Punk says, if you've got the balls, if you've got the cojones, if you're more Boston Red Sox than you are New York Yankees, which is a throwback to a famous line from Punk during their rivalry. You'll put that title on the line against me one last time. Cena says, one last time, the best in the world versus the GOAT. Let's do it. But you got to go to Saudi Arabia. And there was that little pause because if how Punk feels about the blood money and all that, you were like, oh, okay, will he do it? And then, so what I gathered from this is CM Punk is willing to put his morals aside to get that title off of John Cena and kind of right some wrongs. What are your thoughts on the Cena promo of it all, and then when Punk comes out there, and
So
also Seth Rollins just walks out there and flashes up the Money in the Bank contract.
I thought the promo itself was really good. I mean, I think the Cena Punk feud is like honestly like the one thing I want to see out of a heel Cena run. Just to see like the roles reversed and kind of like Punk saying "I told you so." Like I was right about this guy the whole time. Um, and Punk peppering in so many like little references and throwbacks to their feud back in 2011.
He also said, I didn't have to sell out to my final boss. I was like, okay.
And then like you said, the Cena like retaliation or rebuttal about, oh yeah, we'll do it, but we'll do it in Saudi Arabia. There definitely was that undertone of like, I know exactly what I'm saying about going to Saudi Arabia. So then now taking a step back of the whole thing, it's like CM Punk was like so opposed to Saudi Arabia, and I mean now he's going there, and like I get it, like Royal Rumble's gonna be there, and is he gonna really miss Royal Rumble? But I mean, I thought CM Punk stood for something. He's supposed to, and this is also kind of like the bet he's made because he's like he was so anti Saudi Arabia that like it's kind of hard to go back on that type of stuff when you literally tell the Miz to go suck a blood money covered dick. Um, but and he's also put in a tough position because he can't like really explain himself right now, and you can't tell the story of CM Punk like you said, putting his morals aside to go to Saudi Arabia because the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia probably doesn't really know that CM Punk said that about the Miz, and so you can't really put that like on television of CM Punk saying like, oh, I hate Saudi Arabia, but you're gonna make me do this because taking the title off of you is important to me. Like they can't like make CM Punk's dissatisfaction for the Saudi Arabia regime kind of canon in WWE because that would probably, make him get into some trouble, especially there. So maybe after the fact, once he gets out of Saudi Arabia, maybe CM Punk will say something of, maybe he's donating his money to some cause or something. But once again, you got to go back for the Royal Rumble, presumably. And yeah, just as a CM Punk fan personally, it's a little disappointing that he's going to Saudi Arabia because like I said, I thought he like stood for something. And to be honest, overall, like this feeling's kind of been bubbling up a little bit for me. I feel as though like the CM Punk edge has definitely been kind of taken off in this WWE run now. It's kind of hard to rebel against the corporation when the corporation's doing so well, but man, I still wish he was in AEW because AEW CM Punk, I know it probably was not good for his mental health, but I thought
You really,
he was
you,
so
you,
great over there.
you really wish you. I just had this conversation at training last night with people talk about AEW, and one of the person was like, I'm not really a fan of Punk because of the things he did backstage. I'm just like, well, yeah, but I mean,
He just choked someone a little bit.
yeah, he just talked to him a little bit. That was it. That was all. That was all he did. But I mean, I've I under, I understand why he left, and just I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Because like we see sparks of like that CM Punk.
The
I mean,
Renegade.
like we kind of saw it in this one. We saw like that post Royal Rumble or limit whatever one where he called Dwayne a bald fraud. It must have been after Elimination Chamber, but
Yeah.
like stuff like that. Like I was like, okay, we're getting it, and then he kind of merges in the speed of traffic, and he doesn't kind of have that fire that he always has, which I felt like in AEW he had a lot of it, and it's easier to have that fire in AEW where he's freer. They're the underdog company and stuff like that. And you can get away with saying more stuff in AEW
I
than you can in
mean,
WWE right now.
do you was the spark there for the Drew feud?
I mean,
Yeah.
a little bit, but like I'm saying, like the CM Punk going up against the establishment, like the anti-hero guy, it's very hard to do that in a TKO WWE doing very
So
well
let me
era.
ask you this: with everything John Moxley is doing right now with the Death Riders, would Punk have been the
I mean, CM
perfect?
Punk is still the AEW champion.
He's the
Over a
real
thousand
champ.
days.
Yeah. He's getting Roman territory.
Never lost.
All right, come on now. Would yeah, would I'm trying to think. Would CM Punk be the perfect guy to go up against the Death Rider thing?
I mean, perfect is kind of hard because Hangman Page is almost the perfect guy because he is like an AEW original.
Yeah.
And so kind of going up against the WWE guy against the AEW original makes a lot of sense. But
All right. I have to step away for a quick second. Talk about Gunther and the World Heavyweight Championship of it all.
so yeah, main event of Raw, Jey Uso defending his world title against Gunther. Jay brings out his kid, which he's done a couple times, so it didn't exactly flag what was going to happen uh, in the match, but they wrestled. I don't have a time in front of me because I don't have the Wikipedia. But yeah, they wrestled for a good 20 something, like around 20 minutes. And it was a fine match. Nothing like too big to like complain about. Because Jay's one of those guys that like if he's in there with the Gunther, I think he can kind of get some stuff out of him, but he's not going to be in there and carry someone to a good match. And Gunther just, choked Jay out, one clean, got his title back. So we got the Jey Uso experiment for 6 months, or I guess 3 months, post WrestleMania win to title loss here, and we're back where we started with Gunther. And I think Gunther is much better, like as a champion, than whatever he kind of was doing post WrestleMania. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not like the biggest fan of Jey Uso. Like I understand, like he's popular, the crowd likes doing the entrance, but how much longer can you really get out of that? And now that we are in SummerSlam, it is kind of mean to say like, okay, yeah, like Jay had his fun during post WrestleMania, but now that we're getting to SummerSlam, it's time for the real men to have their fun, the real sport aspect of wrestling to kind of take shape, which I don't know what that means. I mean, like what are their plans? We have the King of the Ring stuff coming up. Um, Seth Rollins, like I said, a heel with a champion, a heel Money in the Bank holder with a heel champion doesn't exactly play out well unless they are going to maybe do like Sammy wins the King of the Ring, goes up against
All
Gunther,
right, I'm back. Listen, hold on.
beats Gunther, and then maybe gets cashed in on.
Look, all right, I'm back. Look, Roman was champion for how long? 13, 16. My guy couldn't get half of that. He couldn't get 658. He couldn't get 658.
Nope, you get like 2.5 months and you're going to like it.
God damn it. I mean, yeah, man. Not every title reign has to be long. We've always talked about that.
Not even 2 months.
Yeah.
Less than 2 months.
Yeah. I mean, was 52 days is the number? 52 days is the number. I mean, what the build?
7 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, hell, that's more than what a lot of people got. I mean, what Sean?
I mean, that's a Roman run in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, what Stan Stasiak was champion for what a week. So hey, man, there you go. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I just felt like they could have done more with Jay. I really do. Because like with Seth, having that championship and then him hating him hating Roman, and then I think just hating Jay off the principle of the things he did when he was with the bloodline, maybe, possibly, I don't know. But just like, Seth running around with that briefcase and trying to save the company, doing the things that he's doing. And then Jay always having to kind of look over his shoulder with that, and then having to deal with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And him and Braun Breaker have history because of the IC stuff. And I just realized this: Jay Uso won the IC title and the world title off of guys, and then dropped them back to the same guys. Yeah. So this is interesting. Just I felt like we could have done so much more. I really do. I thought at least he'll get like from Mania to SummerSlam. I thought that would have been a nice run for Jey Uso. He has it for like 6 months, and then we move on to something else. But I mean, obviously, he's bigger for it because he was the world heavyweight champion. Like a lot of people have worked for this company. How many of them actually get to say they were the world champion? Think about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um,
and they gave him the excuse of him wrestling and fighting so much in the last, 72, 48 hours that they were kind of planting the seeds of like, how long can Jay last, doing all this stuff.
yeah. I mean, but credit to him, man. I mean, the build was what 90 days, and he held it for 52. The build to the match was 90 days. He held it for 52. So, I heard that on Sam Roberts' podcast. So kudos to Bra on that. But I mean, yeah, just a bigger star for it, and you have to think about it. Jay will be fine, man. I mean, I think if maybe he enjoyed that feeling of being world champion. He's even hungrier for it now, and he'll chase it again. You never know. But I'm looking to see what they do with him. I mean, his promo after Raw, very special. But all in all, Gunther is the world heavyweight champion again, and this is very interesting. We have two heel world champions. We have a heel Money in the Bank holder. What's going to happen?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if like Seth holds it for a little bit just
Yeah,
because like it's him showcasing his power and how much power he has over everything.
exactly. That's all he has to do. He just has to walk out on the stage and hold up that briefcase. That's it.
Yeah, and I mean, let's see. Well, I'm just trying to. I kind of don't have the image in my mind of the bracket, so I kind of pull it up and see like because the winner does go off against gets a world title shot at SummerSlam, and
Yeah, the winner of the King and Queen of the Ring. That's right.
I
So I
mean,
mean,
we'll talk about it a little bit, but honestly, I think it's like Sammy and Cody are like the clear two favorites in terms
is
of
Cody
winning.
in the King of the Ring tournament?
Yep, he's on the other side. So
Okay.
it, I mean, it could. I mean, Sami Zayn and Cody, Night of Champions, that could be a really fun match if that's like the final. And there's a
Yeah.
mystery persons. We don't know who that is. Mystery Iguana.
You never know. You never know. But yeah, all in all, congratulations, Gunther. And then he was on the Raw Recap podcast immediately after, and he's like, nobody was here backstage, and that's good for me. I'm not here to make friends. Basically, I'm just here for business. Kind of what did Punk say when he first got back? I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. I'm not here for friendships.
Amen,
I'm here for business. I'm here to be the best. I'm here to be the world
brother.
champ. Simple, simple, and I love it. I love everything about it. Moving on from that, let's get into it. Ron Killing speaks. He hops on the commentary desk. The commentary team was Michael Cole and Wade Barrett. Pat McAfee was away. Um, yeah, man. He speaks. He talks about y'all brought our truth back. Your voices were heard. And you're like, I'm not just a flash in the pan. I'm not just a gimmick. Talked about what Cena said about him earlier in the night, and he cuts off his dreads and he says, "The truth set me free." What are your thoughts? And then he disappears into the crowd.
I mean, we talked about it last week that I feel as though R-Truth could have been more. He could have been more of a serious act, but he was kind of pigeonholed slash kind of found his way in that low mid card comedy act. And when people were chanting, "We want truth," they wanted R-Truth. They didn't really want or even know Ron Killings. So I kind of wonder, like, are the crowds going to really get into this for a long period of time? Because they like cheering for him right now, but like,
They're still getting the truth. These Ron the Truth killings.
but it's not fun loving, for lack of a better term, like funny dumb character. R
Oh,
Truth.
okay, but let's say the We Want Truth happens. He gets re-signed. He comes back, and he has however long this run is going to be. It's the most success he's ever had in the company. We're talking more than the 24/7. We're talking more than the oops, my bad. We're talking the U.S. titles, the tag title runs, etc. This whatever, if it's a year or whatever. Let's say this is the most successful he will ever be in the company. Is it really that bad that they didn't bring back the goofy R Truth?
I'm not saying that like for the man. Like I understand like why he would not want to do that, especially like in like kind of the last part of his career. But I mean, maybe this is like a 3 months and it burns really hot, and then he just kind of like stops or not, doesn't not
Maybe
like get
he's the
released or
mystery and the
anything.
king of the
But
ring.
yeah, I mean
What if
that is a possibility.
what if SummerSlam is Ron Killings versus John Cena?
I mean, SummerSlams are 2 nights now, but if you would
He,
think the John Cena match is the main event on Sunday.
I mean, but yeah, that's also the thing. Like going back to the whole Punk and Cena thing, like this not happening at SummerSlam. Like, what do they have in store for that? What's happening at MetLife?
I mean, a Cody Cena rematch seems plausible. Gunther Sammy seems like a very viable Saturday main event. I mean, Ron Killings and Cena possibly, but I mean, let's say it's not gonna happen, but like Punk beats uh Cena, so he's a champion. You can do whatever you're gonna do there, and then like R-Truth takes on Cena like non-title. I don't think that's gonna happen, but like I don't know what does Killings do outside of Cena that people are gonna really care about.
What if our truth goes after Gunther?
But the heat is him and Cena.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, but like, he gets through with Cena. Whatever happens, happens. And then I mean, let's be real. Which world title do you see him actually winning?
I mean, it's clearly the world title because it's not gonna be the WWE Championship. Let's be honest, guys.
I mean, we don't know that. Did we think Kofi was going to win the WWE title? Did we think Big E was going to be WWE champion?
I mean, both those guys were under the age of 40, let alone 50.
We've had older champions.
Who's the oldest WWE champion ever? Well, I guess
Vince
Vince.
McMahon.
Yeah, I was going to say outside of Vince. Real wrestler. Hulk Hogan. It's Hulk Hogan 2002. I answered my own question.
Yeah, when was it, like 48?
Yeah. And yet he looks like 50, 60 compared to like the wrestlers who are 48 now.
Yeah.
Hairline didn't do him any favors.
Like, you never know.
And the knees.
We'll have to see. The new women's Intercontinental Champion walks out there. Becky Lynch, the man, talks about how Lyra went ballistic and like what unsportsmanlike when she should have just raised her arm and she almost dislocated her shoulder. Asked Lyra to come out there. Lyra comes out there. Then all of a sudden, you hear the crowd erupt, and Bayley is back, fresh off the Newark Pavilion on last Friday night. Pulls up, attacks the women's Intercontinental Champion, and Bayley is standing tall.
Yeah, fun return for Bayley. You know, she wasn't hurt or anything. They just kind of wrote her off television for the storyline. And like, is this a triple threat match? Is it just Bayley and Becky and Lyra just kind of fades off into the sunset and just kind of lets the bigger stars do their own thing? But because I think there is like still something there with Becky and Lyra getting her win back and getting her title back. But
this is evolution. This is what you do. You do Lyra and Bayley #1 contendership. You have Bayley beat Lyra, and then this is it. Like I heard Sam Roberts say this could be the women's IC titles version of Brett and Mr. Perfect. Like it could be that level of a matchup because I mean you and I have kind of always both agreed Bayley's just the overall best of all four of them. But I mean, you know, when it's time for Becky to go and turn it on, she turns it on and ain't nobody stopping her. So when these two forces come together like this, and I mean, how many times did we really get Becky versus Bayley? We've seen every other mixed match. We've seen Charlotte and Sasha, Charlotte and Becky, Charlotte and Bayley, Sasha and Bayley, etc. But we ain't seen them really clash like this at this level. So this is going to be something special.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a really good match whenever it takes place. My thing is like it is kind of awkward that you have the two baby faces going after against the one heel, and the one heel is the most popular one out of the three. So I just don't know how they're going to be able to navigate that, kind of land the plane.
Bro, you do what I just said. You have a #1 contenders match between the two of them. Bayley goes up, boom.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Exactly. Hold on. Yeah. Set it up for Evolution. Speaking of Evolution, let's talk about the woman that main evented the first Evolution, Nikki Bella. They have a video package about her, and you see her backstage. What are your thoughts on the video package before she goes out there to cut the promo?
I mean, it was just kind of standard stuff, just kind of like reminding people because, I mean, it's been a while, and WWE's a lot of new fans recently of Nikki Bella. You know, I once again, I feel like they overblow Nikki's importance to women's wrestling.
How?
But I mean, she's still like kind of a star of that era. But she's
So
she's in an awkward position to where she's like not like the best wrestler, and she's not like.
Have you seen her and Bree's her podcast that they just released the day after this happened?
I have not.
Do
they talk about Stephanie Vacqua?
No. They talk about like people basically like what you just said, like questioning their importance. They said, well, it's just ignorant men, and I was like, oh, is this?
Well, call me an ignorant man.
They talking about you, Brandon?
Yeah, But I mean, my thing is just like they're kind of like in that awkward space to where when they were like the divas like in the early 2010s, like they were kind of better women, and then when like Nikki really got her push like in the mid 2010s, coincidentally it kind of happened when John Cena and her were dating, but also like there once again were better women than the Bella twins. And like
I
Nikki did
mean,
get better. When she was a champion and stuff like that, she did get better. I'm not gonna
at the
like say she
height
was terrible.
at the height of their relationship was what, like WrestleMania, what, 29?
I mean, it was literally WrestleMania 33 when they got engaged.
True. I'm just thinking like I'm thinking back to Total Divas and like, when that it just became so popping, like what was it, around WrestleMania 29 when all that was going on. And then when did she really get the run? Like 2015 is when the run happened.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think like because 31, it was the Bellas versus
It
AJ
was
and
the tag match.
Paige in
So
the
it's
tag
what,
match.
late 24. It's, yeah. I think it's like Survivor Series 2014 until when did she lose the title to Charlotte? Like September of 2015. So what, like November to September of those years? That's the run. But I mean, I look at the Bellas like this. Like they built their empire. They came around at a time where women were still doing Playboy. They never did that, and Nikki was talking about on the podcast how there was a lot of fighting that happened, not just obviously in the ring, but they did a lot of fighting behind the scenes to be able to get those moments. So I look at it like this. Everybody that comes before you, you got to thank them. Like EO said in the thing, thank you for paving the way. And uh,
And
the
someone
Bellas,
adequately put the picture of The Miz being the trainer for Bryan Danielson, which basically felt like the exact same thing.
what?
Io Sky thanking Nikki Bella for being such an inspiration to women's wrestling is like The Miz coaching Daniel Bryan in NXT.
Well, that was a reality show. This is complete. It's completely different. It's completely different. I mean, you have to look at it like the Bellas, along with other women, they were there during a time where you could only have 3 minutes total, including entrances, to go out there and tell a story. So and whatever. I mean, we don't know what was going on behind the scenes. Whatever pushback they were doing to kind of help get more time and all that other etc. The Bellas, along with a lot of other women,
Is John Laurinaitis still their father-in-law
I have no
or
idea.
stepfather?
I have no idea, but they
I hope not,
they did
because
help.
their mom is she's so nice, respectfully.
That's the point. They helped. We get to it. Nikki Bella's out there with Liv Morgan.
Also, didn't get that big of a pop to be honest. Like in there in Phoenix, which is their hometown.
They got to run in Napa. That's where they reside now. I mean, they got to run in Napa. Um, what you call it? And Nikki Bella's out there doing the talk. Liv Morgan comes out there, talks about, I have things you don't, like a championship and a man. And Nikki was like, wow, who does your man belong to? Was it you or Roxanne? And then uh Nikki's about to leave, and Liv says, all you ever be is a reality show diva. And then she hits her with the Oblivion.
I mean, it was fine, I guess. I mean, the Stephanie Vacqua thing was just atrocious. Like, not like I get it. Stephanie Vacquier can be kind of a tricky name to pronounce, but like she was not even in the ballpark of pronouncing her name right, which kind of like The Rock, like not knowing the product, kind of similar to to Nikki Bella. But
How did she say it?
she said Stephanie Vacqua. She made her French.
Vacqua.
Yeah, she made the Chilean girl French, which first for me.
Hey, I mean, Muhammad Hassan was Italian, brothers. What do you want to say?
But yeah, and then once again, he did the whole thing of two women talking about men, which I I feel like we don't really need to do that, and especially if you look into why Nikki Bella doesn't have a man anymore. It's not exactly something you want to shed a light on. But it also seems as though maybe we're going to get evolution and the Bella twins get back together to take on Liv and Raquel for the tag titles, which is something the Bella twins have talked about wanting to have those tag titles for a while. So it's not a shock that they're doing it now.
Yeah, I mean, could we see Brie come back? And we have a Bella Twins tag title run.
Give me that Bream Mode theme song, baby.
I love Brie Mode. Brie Mode was fantastic. How
Maybe
do you feel
maybe
about
Dana Bryan's in the crowd cheering him on. Probably not though.
Why not?
He's probably still under contract with that other
Where?
company.
What other company?
That WWAE. EAW, whatever their name is. I forget.
That's crazy work. Jesus. All right. Moving on from that. Roxanne, Dominic, and Sammy all qualify.
Yeah, once again, we get these kind of multi-person matches to then qualify for the singles matches, which is how you get stars in the tournament, but then you don't actually have them do jobs, which I mean, I kind of wish we had like a 16-person or 8-person tournament, just one-on-one matches that culminates to the main finals, but that's just what WWE does now. I mean, they literally just did it for the ladder match for Money in the Bank. The women's match, the women's ones are kind of more wide open because I feel as though you don't need like that tippy top star to kind of win the whole thing. Uh, and we already talked about like on the men's side. I think it comes down to Sammy, Cody, and then maybe that mystery person if they pull something out their ass. But if you're gonna really actually have someone main event or challenge for a title at SummerSlam, those seem like the two main guys. Because I mean, everyone else involved, I just don't see it happening.
What? Why not?
I mean, Randy Orton, maybe you could run it back with Cena, but kind of been there, done that. LA Knight, I think, is going to get canceled out by Jacob Fatu. Sheamus, Rusev, Reed, no. And then Priest, Andrade, Nakamura taking on Cody. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if Priest wins by pinning either Andrade or Nakamura, and Cody loses, but doesn't actually lose. And then the mystery person, which having it be Ron Killings does kind of seem, because it is on the Raw side, seems like a decent fit.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. See, AEW happened. Talk about that.
AEW
Stuff.
did happen. They had another one of their 4-hour blocks. This time it's called Summer Blockbuster. Luckily, we're not going to have these anymore because the NHL Stanley Cup Finals is coming to an end. Well, not hopefully, but it will come to an end by next week. Um, Opening match was Swerve and Osprey, one of the bigger matches they put on Dynamite. And what happens? Once again, they do a 30-minute time limit. And I think they know that it's not a good look because they didn't have the announcer, Justin Roberts, kind of count down the uh, the time limit because I think once they start doing that, you kind of know it's going to happen. But the announcers at home were doing it, and match was fun. But obviously, you kind of wish you got to finish there. Then the Young Bucks come out, beat down on Swerve, handcuff him. They try to do the spiked super kick to Swerve, but Osprey came in, took the bullet for him, and was bleeding everywhere. Not the first time we saw blood everywhere on this show, and so telling the story of Osprey, sacrificing himself for Swerve, and maybe that turns Swerve on Osprey's side, and maybe he does finally link up with Hangman to take down the Death Riders. Mystico had a squash match. Well, not really a squash match, but had a showcase match. Um, and then
Jesus
MJF come.
Christ! I just saw it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just saw the Stephanie. Jesus Christ! Oh boy.
See Phillip out here blaming me for not watching SmackDown. Didn't see Stephanie Vacqua.
No, I saw the segment, bruh. I saw the meet.
I had to rewind it because I heard her and I was like half paying attention because like she just named, doing the whole thing where she names off all the wrestlers and then she clearly did not say Stephanie Fakir's name. And I was like, it was so bad I didn't even hear what she said.
Yeah, no, I just saw a clip from their podcast, and Brie was like, "Girl, you're half Hispanic." Like, well, why did you say it like that? It reminded me. You remember Maurice's theme song? What were you talking about? Mystico and MJF.
Mystico and MJF together.
What's up with MJF wearing he got the kind of MVP get up on?
Well, he's part of the Hurt Syndicate, brother.
Hello.
But
They
yeah,
hurt people. I don't know if you knew that, but they hurt people.
they do hurt people. Mystico and MJF are gonna have a match at Arena Mexico next week.
Orderly.
So they built up this one. MJF kind of going full blown, ignorant American against Mystico. Called him sloppy Sin Cara. So there you go. And
Sloppy Sin Cara is oh, never change, Maxwell. Never change.
Sloppy Sin Cara is probably something on Urban Dictionary, but I digress. I honestly,
Is it really? Look it up.
I mean, it probably is. I mean, it's probably not, but maybe someone does put
Sloppy
something.
Sin Cara. What does that mean?
I mean,
What's that?
nope, nothing. Unfortunately,
All
but
right.
honestly, I think Mystico wins that match just because like he is like the biggest star in CMLL. Either that or we're gonna get a shit finish, which we probably will.
Wait, so was AEW originally working with AAA?
They were because remember, I think Ray Phoenix and Kenny Omega were the AAA Mega
Yes, they
Campeon.
were the mega champion. That's right. And then that partnership ended. The TNA partnership ended, and then they all went over to WWE.
Yeah, and CMLL and New Japan are partners, so it made sense because it was always an awkward situation when because Lucha Bros were AAA guys, but they were wrestling against and New Japan people who were CMLL guys, and it was a whole thing. But
Oh,
so yeah,
politics.
yeah. So especially Mexican politics. So yeah, MJF and Mystico are gonna have their match next week. Should be fun, but I'm not expecting anything close to a
You got
clean
the
finish
you got the
there.
Death Riders.
Yeah, Death Riders beat down Hangman. So Moxley puts some heat on Hangman. Christopher Daniels comes out to try to talk them off the ledge. Hangman or
Christopher Daniels.
yeah, Moxley was kind of like yelling at Hangman, talking about he really wants to he really wants a championship and you want to save the company or whatever. And then once Hangman gets freed, he cuts another one of those fiery babyface promos, which I think Hangman's been doing a phenomenal job these last few weeks, kind of
Yes.
cutting those fiery. I want the championship. I am gonna stop this guy, this heel champion.
The title's still in the briefcase, right?
It is. We have not seen the title since whenever Danielson lost it, which was like what, November?
So what if Hangman wins it and then he opens his briefcase and the title's not in there?
That'd be a tough look. Uh, then the to cap off the dynamite portion of the 4 hour block, we did get the Omega Okada contract signing. I thought they showed a really good video package, just kind of getting everyone up to speed of highlights of all the matches they had in New Japan because AEW is kind of the hardcore wrestling company, but there are a lot of people and God damn it, the first match happened 8 years ago, so it's been a while. Um, so they brought everyone up to speed on kind of why this is a big deal, and then they had the contract signing pretty straightforward. They just kind of signed the contract, and then Don Callis comes up and distracted Kenny, and it seems as though Don Callis and Okada are linked up together, which is a good link up just because Okada's English isn't the best. Maybe gets him a little more serious. Um, but then they kind of took it a little too over the top with Okada hitting some elbows onto Kenny's stomach, including one off the ring apron onto a stretcher. And
Was supposed to reinvigorate his diverticulitis. Was that the point?
yeah, and then Omega just like spits up all this blood, which clearly is like fake. And it's like, so I'm not the biggest fan of like taking the blood pills and like making the blood spurt out your mouth. Like there's one thing like if you want to do like a little blood, but this one was just way too much. He was like Eddie Guerrero, JBL type where there was just so much blood and like this is fake blood. So obviously it's like okay, this is way too much, but yeah, I thought that was kind of took me out of the
So
moment and it was not I thought it was a good
the
segment and like good stuff overall, but that obviously the blood was too much.
the Continental title and the International title are going to be unified to create the Global Championship. So is this the
Good. Less
second?
titles.
Is this the second World Championship?
No, this is for the globe. This is just like the physical rock.
Okay.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Uh,
Explain this while I step away again.
but yeah, they are doing a new title. Title, it's fine. AEW's done like those kind of oval type titles before, like they did like the original women's title, which they ended up going away from. So maybe like Tony just really likes that style, but just can't like keep it. Um, I think the international title probably is like the best looking title out of the 3, but they're not gonna eliminate them or eliminate the continental one. But we're getting rid of at least one title, so that's good for me. Then we get to the collision portion, which there was, a lot of stuff didn't really matter. Just kind of like placeholder stuff. It was a typical collision to where if you watch it, it's not a complete waste of time. But if you only watch Dynamite, you're not really missing much. Tony Storm had a match, and
Yeah, what is going
Mercedes
on, bro? They sniffing each other? What's happening?
and Mercedes was on commentary. Storm wins, and then after the fact, Mercedes goes up to her, yeah, like sniffs her, kind of kisses her, and then attacks Tony Storm. Shotzi put it pretty bluntly that she would like to go to AEW because that's where all the hot girls are kissing or something like that. So, um, yeah, AEW definitely does not shy away from sexuality, especially with the Tony Storm character.
They don't. They don't at all. A lot was happening, man.
Yep.
A lot
So
was happening.
that's the last 4 hour block for AEW television, hopefully for a quite some time.
They did 4 hours.
Yeah, they did the double taping, the Collision and Dynamite back to back. So from 8 o'clock to midnight, if you watch it, if you don't have the satellite and get it early on the West Coast or other time zones, which is a lot. But like I said, since the Stanley Cup finals are coming to a close, AEW or Dynamite, or it's mainly Collision. Collision will be able to take place on TNT on Saturday. Next Saturday, not this Saturday.
Mm, mm. That is crazy.
And we're literally a month away, I think, from whatchamacallit. Well, not literally, but anyways, numbers and stuff, because I think isn't it July 12th is All In.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn. Damn. A lot is happening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for us. Y'all know where to find us. Instagram, the Bulletcast, YouTube Bulletcast, Twitter Bulletcast. Follow Brandon and myself on respective social medias. Y'all know where to tap in at. Appreciate y'all. We'll be back next week for more. Be safe and stay dangerous. Yes, sir.